This is a podcast about networking. Networking is the ability to communicate and establish relationships to help you and others progress in their future endeavors. In light of the world changing right in front of our eyes, it's very important, now more than ever, to learn and master the skill of networking. It used to just be about physical networking, but with social media now being a part of our daily lives, the ability to share dialogue has shifted from face to face to screen to screen. Today, more people are becoming more social on social media and missing the tools of how to be social in real life. In order to establish your network, you have to learn how to communicate both on and off the screen. Creating and maintaining your network is the key to unlocking your potential within yourself and opens the door to the endless possibilities of a successful future. This podcast teaches you how to establish your network and how to maintain relationships on and off your screen. Hey, nice to meet you. The Networking Podcast, hosted by Desiree Jones. It's a pleasure to meet you. Talk soon. Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Desiree Jones, or Des for short, and welcome to the podcast that teaches you how to establish your network and build relationships both on and off your screen. Or more so maintain relationships, but they kind of go hand in hand. And today's topic is, hey, who are you? Who are you? Because when it comes to networking, that's the first question people want to know. Who are you? So we're going to jump into that shortly. But first, let's get into the book of the day. Reading is fundamental, and it's very important to continue to make it a habit. If you prefer audiobooks, that's fine. But something about the touch of a book and the flip of a page just brings solitude in the mind. So with that, in light of Black History Month coming up, today's book of the day is History of the Black Dollar. I have it right here for the viewers. History of the Black Dollar by Angel Rich, forwarded by Dr. Maya Rockeymoore. Hope I said that right, but this is the book. This book highlights several economic moments in history that have helped shape America as a whole. So you got slavery, sharecropping, convict leasing, the Little Rock Nine, Black Wall Street, civil rights, the Great Recession, Black Lives Matter, and other milestones. And one major takeaway that I got from this book is although there were several times of hardship and racism for African Americans that still exist today, by the way, there were still some Black millionaires and billionaires in the mix. There were still some Black millionaires and billionaires in the mix. Several entrepreneurs, inventors, educational leaders were pushing for equality and building community, and some risking their lives for the equality and freedom of Black people, African Americans. So as we head into Black History Month, do some research. I am living the dreams of my ancestors, and I will forever be grateful for all of the entertainers, athletes, business owners, community leaders that come before me. And also, just want to point out, networking definitely played a massive part into this impact as well. So, History of the Black Dollar by Angel Rich, who is also from the illustrious Hampton University and HBCU in Hampton, Virginia. Shout out to Angel Rich. Appreciate you. Great book. I've read it and appreciate you. So that is the book of the day. Highly encourage you guys to check it out. It's pretty sure it's everywhere, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. So, topic of today. Hey, who are you? Top 2 questions or common questions when it comes to the question, who are you? Or when you're thinking about starting the conversation, usually it's what's your name? Where are you from? But looking inwardly, it's important to know who you are as a person first. So no one can define that for you. Like it or not, there will always be someone who's going to have something to say about you. In high school and middle school, I used to get offended and sad and was just trying to make friends and, do what I could do to just be liked. And all it really did was lead to more insecurity and losing myself to the identity of others. So the goal has never been to fit in. I've never really tried to fit in anywhere. I can blend, but I am my own person and I adapt. But who I am has nothing to do with how you see me. Who I am has everything to do with how I see me. So the question is, how do you see you? As for me, I'm Des. I'm a creative techie who's passionate about self-love, business, and creativity. I enjoy learning new things and connecting with people. And I also am on a mission to help young adults and students love themselves for who they are and not for what the world expects them to be. This goes for all the adults too. Life's too short to dwell on the past and focus more on the present and how you can be a better you from now on. So this is a segment we're going to lead into. It's called Then It All Went Left. So this is a segment where I talk about a situation that went totally terrible, but led to the right path. So after graduating, I went through somewhat of an identity crisis. When you're graduating school, you're caught up in everything in school, but then when you graduate, it's just a different story. So while I was in school, and we're talking about college for me, Hampton University, shout out to HBCU Pride Nation, shout out to Support Black Colleges, shout out to all the HBCU communities, shout out to my HBCU representing everywhere, like we're awesome. So when I was at Hampton University, I was involved in a lot, from being Greek, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Rho Alpha Chapter, to being in, leadership roles. I was a photographer, videographer, had my own business. But after graduating and looking for jobs and just getting let go from internships, which I talk about in my first episode, I really had to reevaluate who I was. I had to question, what were my values? Like, what did they mean to me? What were my strengths and weaknesses? And, once school ends, that's when you get into the weird transition where you're trying to step into the new when everything around may feel pretty familiar. So what went right about where I am, or I guess, what went right was me really narrowing down on what I know I'm confident in doing, while also being honest about where I am. Back in college, I feel like I was trained for interviews and doing them, but I never really thought about what to say, what I felt. I just went through the motions, because I just really needed a job. But when I was interviewing for my current role now, I was very honest with them about my major strengths, what they were, what I wanted to learn about, and why I thought I'd be a good fit for the role. And I ended up getting that role, which was really awesome, because in the past I was just so used to just interviewing just to get the money, just to get the job, whatever. But when you narrow down your focus on what you want, what your skill set, how you can apply that to where it is you want to work, it narrows down the focus of what the person that might be interviewing you, what they could be interested in based off of what you tell them. So, we're always changing. What did I learn from this? We're always changing and adapting and learning. And, who you are today may not be the same person as who you'll be in the next few months or years. But it's important to identify what makes you, you, and think about how you can portray that or explain that to someone when you meet them. When it comes to networking, you have to be confident in who you are and what you bring to the conversation based on you and not anyone else or their expectations. You don't want to network and find yourself in a situation where you're faking an identity just to appease someone. That is only hurting yourself in the long run, and real recognize real, okay? So be authentically you, and the right people will gravitate to you. So who are you? Ask yourself, who are you? Ask yourself, what are your strengths? Ask yourself, who am I when I look into the mirror? What is it that I know that I'm good at? What is it that I know that I might need that I might need to work on, So now we're going to get into another segment. It's called 100 Commandments of Confidence. And 100 Commandments of Confidence is a declaration, because I consider myself a confident person. And when I started this on TikTok and Instagram at the Book of Des, that's my Instagram and TikTok, I was literally like, you know what, this is what I learned. Thou shalt whatever, this is what you should learn about confidence. So every podcast episode, I'm going to give you a commandment of confidence. And this commandment for today to think about is, thou shalt know who you are and respect yourself. A guy, funny story, a guy I used to talk to. So let me say that again. Thou shalt know who you are and respect yourself. Thou shalt know who you are and respect yourself. So a guy I used to talk to a while ago asked me, what will you do if we stop talking? And you know what I said? I said, I'm going to move on and live my best life. Like, what do you mean? So, I don't talk to them anymore, but it was just like, confidence is knowing yourself before anyone else gets the chance to project their doubt into you. So don't receive it. Like, what are you going to do without me? What are you going to do if we stop talking? I'm going to live. I'm going to continue to be great. Like, I'm going to live my life. Life goes on. So I'm happy right now. And, what's more great than that? Having confidence and knowing who you are and knowing that regardless of where I am in this season, who I am now, who I'm talking to, I'm going to be me. And I'm not going to allow the projection of what you think I am to come into my life and alter who I think I am. No, I'm Desiree Jones. I'm Des. I'm awesome. And I'm going to continue to be awesome for the rest of my life. So the question is, in terms of confidence, how do you see yourself when you look in the mirror? What do you think your mission in life is? Do you portray that image everywhere you go? Are you striving to get to that image every day? So these are some questions to think about when you're trying to consider, like, who are you and how you're able to articulate that and explain that to someone when you meet them, whether that be for the first time or reintroducing yourself, either way. So now the last segment is the follow-up hack, because like it or not, when it comes to networking, it's not just about conversation, but it's also about continuing the conversation. And following up is something that most people really don't do, even after having a great conversation. How do you follow up? How are we able to continue? So this follow-up hack I'm going to give today is about reminders. Has something, like, when you think about a reminder, it's like something you thought about that reminded you of someone, like you've been meaning to reach out to. So let that be the entryway to the conversation. Any type of reminder. Hey, I saw this show or heard this song, or I was talking to a friend, blah, blah, blah. Like, I thought I'd reach out to say hello. This reminder, any type of reminder that jogs your memory, this can be the gateway into a conversation or request of any kind to someone you might feel like you need to reach back out to, So think of like a reminder. Think of something that you both have in common or something you guys used to talk about. And then use that as a gateway into starting the conversation back up again and follow up with them. You can do it. You never know what could happen, but it starts with you. You got to take the initiative to follow back up. You can do it. So if this resonated with you, let me know. Give us a review. This is the Networking Podcast. Hey, nice to meet you, the Networking Podcast. A podcast that teaches you how to maintain relationships both on and off the screen. This episode was about knowing who you are. Like, who are you? Who are you? Because you can't really talk to anybody and establish relationships off of a false identity. It's possible, but why? Be yourself. Be authentically you. So I hope this resonated with you. If it did, follow us. Let us know. Give us a review. Subscribe to the podcast wherever it's being broadcasted. And this is the second episode, so I hope you see us on the next one. And of course, networking is an ongoing thing. It's a process. So on every episode, I'm going to give you guys different tips, different lessons of how to actually network, because everyone says, oh yeah, let's network, but they don't know how to network. It is a process, and we're going to get through that and talk more about how that process works throughout this podcast. Thank you again. It's Desiree Jones. Have a great day. See ya.